up in here. How y'all doing? Let's go. Let's get higher. What? Higher. Let's go. This is it. God's game. God's game. God's game. God's game.
I wanna walk in the light. I wanna get higher. Fulfill my desires. I wanna inspire. Cause I've been through the fire. And I'm wicked, I'm tired. I wanna go higher. I wanna go higher. I wanna walk in the light. I wanna get higher. Fulfill my desires. I wanna inspire. Cause I've been through the fire. And I'm wicked, I'm tired. I wanna go higher. I wanna go higher. Still maintaining.
Yeah.
The world still changing.
Yep.
Still a light in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
With the mind of the shining.
Absolutely.
Niggas still hating. Still finding loopholes in the matrix. Still grinding for greatness. Still praying that we all gon' make it. Blessings on blessings from lessons on lessons. With patience, we all can go get it. End all this hating and all this division, my nigga, we all could be ready. See through the past, the present, the future, I feel it through my intuition. Yeah, answers is with me fulfilling the mission, I feel it through my composition. Yeah, you're talking, I'm paying attention. Every instance, you know that I'm listening. On the mountains, I'm seeing the vision. In the trauma, the spiritual stitches. In my heart, I just set the attention. In the darkness, my light be the witness. Often guided by spiritual wisdom. I just work with the gifts I was given. Yeah.
Go. Let's go.
I've been blessed with these gifts, divine gifts. But some use those to profit off our people's power. But even with all their riches, they still ain't full. Those empires, they're falling. Me, I got to walk in the light. I wanna walk in the light. I wanna get higher, fulfill my desires. I wanna inspire, cause I've been through the fire. And I'm wicked, I'm tired. I wanna go higher. I wanna go higher. I wanna walk in the light. I wanna get higher. Fulfill my desires. I wanna inspire. Cause I've been through the fire. And I'm weak and I'm tired. I wanna go higher. I wanna go higher.
Get up in here. Get up in here. Good day, good day, good day. How you doing, Logan, with the football and the rest of y'all too. Shout out to all of my new subscribers, all of the new fans and friends and all of that. Thank you. I'm gonna start there because I think last video I did not say that, and if I did, it was at the very end, and I could be running my mouth for a while, and y'all are actually what's most important. That's why I get up in here every Sunday, and I'm gonna keep doing that for y'all. This week we are talking about abandonment. Abandonment. The wound of abandonment. So there is a trigger warning on this video. If you have yet to deal with your abandonment wounds and you are not ready to open that can of worms in your life, trust and believe it's all right. But this would be the time to leave the video, okay? Because this video, I am definitely going to be talking about abandonment. And for those of you who follow me, y'all already know I made notes. So if I made notes, y'all better get y'all notepad because this one's gonna be a good one. Um, so who am I? I'm the Polit Saint. I am the Polit Saint. Okay. I am I am lit, but I am a saint. Okay. I'm a motivational speaker, a motor mouth that runs my mouth to motivate other people to get their shit up in the highest vibration because I want us all to be feeling the greatest in our life. What difference does it make if I'm a man or a woman? I'm actually neither. I am a soul having a human experience, and I'm on your screen right now. You can receive what I'm giving or get the step in. Because this right here is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And I am here to help you guys. So, Rich the Ruler, I hope that you in here because you might have some abandonment wounds and you might need some help getting up out of that. But if you're just here to figure out what I got going on, and you might not be in the right place. So, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to go higher, right? Because that's what this journey is about. And so abandonment wounds, abandonment, what is that? Me and my brother was having a discussion the other day, and it made me put this together because listening to him talk and explain his situation made me very grateful for the shadow work that I've done and how my abandonment wounds showed up in my life, right? And how those things caused me to stay in cycles and continue with behaviors that were not necessarily benefiting my greatest good. Therefore, I wasn't getting the greatest results. What? And we want the greatest results. That's why we on earth. We're here for the best things, all of the good things. We want the best, the best, the best. We want joy. We want peace. We want abundance. We want happiness. We want love. We want all of that good stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Staying off the grid. Yeah, baby. Yes, I'm happy all the time. You're right. You got a good eye. That's right. You might stay off the grid, but you stay up on that shit. Yeah, 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 yeah. So let's go. Abandonment wounds. And so abandonment wounds is are developed early in life, when our needs aren't necessarily met as young people. Maybe somebody didn't really tell us that they loved us enough. Maybe someone didn't validate us enough or affirm us. Maybe we had games and the people that we expected to show up and support us didn't come, or maybe we created pieces of art and the people that we thought should love those pieces of art didn't really care about them or have time to embrace them or enjoy them. Maybe we played some type of sport or athletic thing, and we didn't have people to show up to our games and cheer us on. Maybe we were in some type of league, spelling bees and different things, those type of things. Maybe we needed somebody to provide safety to us. There's a lot of us that didn't get proper safety as children. And so those things develop into what is called abandonment wounds. Okay, that's the wound of abandonment. Hey, get up in here, honey love. Staying off the grid. Yeah, 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 yeah. Grease it up, baby. Grease it up, okay? Whack it off. All you gotta do, whatever you gotta do. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you right now. This right here is today we're gonna do with your abandonment wounds. So, abandonment wounds look very different for different people. And what I mean by the wound is, so none of us like have the scar of whatever our core wound is. People who have the wound of inferiority complex or whatever, we don't carry that, so people can't necessarily see it. You know what I mean? So your wound is an internal thing, but they do experience your wound because sometimes we can lash out because of the wounds that we have. Sometimes we can overgive because of the wounds that we have. Sometimes we can be avoidant in our connections because of the wounds that we have. Sometimes we can be very superficial in our connections because of the wounds that we have. And so it's very important to look at the wounds, right? Our wounds, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because if we don't heal our wounds, then we cannot get our heart to that space of openness that allows us to hear the guidance that leads our life to that greater place, right? That means we're not getting our greatest work because we tied down in something that don't feel good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's go. So, now you guys, I'm gonna give you guys this perspective through astrology because I'm telling you how I personally dealt with my abandonment wounds, and you can do this. Gonna look different, right? Because in some of these placements, obviously you don't have the same thing that I have. However, this is merely an example, so that you can identify for yourself what wounds do you have. Not everybody's wound is abandonment, but if you got abandonment as a wound, meaning as a young person you did not feel safe, as a young person you were not affirmed by those who provided you with care, as a young person you were not given the love and affection that you needed, you were not told that you were beautiful, smart, kind, and all of those things, right? That's what I'm looking at, right? So um, the first place for anybody's chart is the wound, which is Chiron. Okay, if you don't know your birth chart, I suggest that you get it because where we going in this new cycle, if you want to get in the best parts of your life, then this is going to be very important to you because you need to understand who you are. And who you are, like I said, is not who I am or your sister or your brother or your cousin or your friend or your mother or your lover. It's you have to know you. So, um, Chiron in your houses is the one thing that you need the time of birth in order to understand what that is. So, anyway, uh, here we go. If you look at your Chiron, where is it? So for me, my Chiron is in Taurus. Okay, so that's my wound. My wound is stability. I need stability. So abandonment is the lack of stability, right? It's the lack of safety. It's the lack of feeling safe. And you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, I can get comfortable here. And so, how does that show up, right? For me, it showed up in a lot of different ways. It showed up in getting in relationships that I knew weren't going anywhere. It showed up in over giving to situations or staying in situations longer than I should and calling it stability. It showed up in ways like me staying in jobs that were not fulfilling to my soul, but I was getting a check, and so that looked stable. It showed up a lot of different ways. Now, how did I deal with this wound? Okay, we're going to get through that because we're going to keep going down. But some of the things that I had to do was to become more loving to myself, right? And so what I wasn't given as a child, I had to give to myself. So the grown version of me had to give it to the little version of me, and this is why I encourage Big Kid Sunday, right? Because we have to connect to the child of us, okay? Because that's where the wound exists, and that's why I say most people too grown. People be too grown, like I'm just too grown out here, okay? Everything too serious, and everybody want to be too perfect, and everybody want to be too responsible. But the real responsibility that we owe is to ourselves, so that we can get the greatest version of ourselves. So, Chiron, where is your Chiron? What is there? And then not only that, where does that Chiron sit? Okay. Uh, Next is mine sitting in the most of these things for me sit in my eighth house, so I don't know if y'all know about all that, but that's gonna be some other stuff, and y'all should really go ahead and subscribe to my other channel because over there I will get a lot deeper into my actual chart and the shadow work that I have done to bring myself to this place, which is what everybody gets to enjoy today, the same, right? My brother and I was just saying like people who get to experience me now and they're like, oh, you guys together. Like, no, I don't. I'm just constantly a work in progress as we all are. And so this is what the work looks like. And so when you guys hear me saying, do the dirty work, do the dirty work, this is what I am encouraging you to do. To get to know yourself and understand yourself. Where are your wounds? Where are your needs? What soothes you? What makes you feel whole? What makes you feel happy? What makes you feel comfortable? And then you can start to seek relationships and friends and family that align to that. But if you're not, then we typically find ourselves with our wounds being re-agitated over and over and over and over again. So the next placement is the moon, right? And the moon is because we are looking at deep emotions, the hidden emotions of yourself. So your moon sign is your hidden emotions. And so what is hidden there? And this also for like if you've worked with me and done my coaching, this is where I link you from your moon to your fourth house. Okay, what is there? Because this the relationship in our fourth house, that foundation of relationship, will mimic itself in the moon. Okay, and why is that? Because whatever we're missing or lacking. So, case in point for myself, because again, we're talking about me and I'm being transparent for you guys, is that um, my mother was not there. Okay, I have a Leo moon, and so Leo moon is all about attention. It's all about affirming. It's all about love. However, Leo moon only cares about close love. Okay, because they're constantly attracting. They're like the sun, right? I'm bright, and so I'm constantly attracting all kinds of people who are like, "Oh my God, you're good, you're great, and yeah," but it doesn't mean anything if it's not coming from the those that I value, and that's at a foundational level. And so all of my life, my mother was a drug addict, and so she was incapable of giving me what was necessary for me as a young person, even into adulthood, which was that affirming of, oh my God, I'm very proud of you. I really like what you created. I think it's beautiful. You should keep going. But I had to learn to give that to myself. For years, I looked for that to be fulfilled in interpersonal relationships with my partners, only to find that I would be attracted to people who A, saw me as something to compete with, or B, felt like my ego was too big and they didn't want to stroke it. So there was no way they were going to tell me how awesome I was. There was no way. But this was what I definitely desired. And when I did not get those things, I would respond. So when my needs weren't met in the moon, okay, that inner need, that deeper emotional need, I would respond to the people who weren't giving it to me the same way my mother responded to and treated me. Okay, and so you see how this works? I hope that y'all getting this and piecing it together, right? So the wounds that we face are there, and we have to look at them not because, oh, I need to make my mom a bad person, because no, this is not about my mother, because ultimately I had to figure out what was it that my small person was missing that the big me needed to give me. You know what I mean? And so sometimes people be like, "Oh my God, you're always bragging about yourself." Yes, because I'm proud of me. If ain't nobody else proud of me, I'm proud of me. I like blow my motherfucking own mind every time I create something. I like take myself to some higher level of yeah, and I give that to myself so that it can heal. Okay, I'm constantly healing myself. This is what we mean by healing yourself. So I'm healing myself by constantly creating and affirming for me that this is good for my soul. I like it. Even if nobody else likes it, I like it. That's why I made it. I created that because it felt good for me. And that is important. So, what is your moon sign? What soothes you? What is in your fourth house? What type of relationship do you have from your foundational, standing of emotional intelligence? All right. So next is Saturn. Like, where is your Saturn at? Okay, and this could be hard because Saturn will represent our fears. Okay, and so when we have a wound of abandonment, there is a fear in relationships. So your Saturn will be in some kind of crazy way aspected that gives you fear around relationships, fear around intimacy, fear around connecting to people, right? And one of those ways that that shows up is we will be superficial in our connections with other, or we will be avoidant. So if we feel that the connection is too intense or it's getting too deep, then there's time. Now it's time to go. So, okay, I gotta get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta figure out a way out of here. However, with the abandonment wound that I had to heal, it was the opposite for me. It was I would stay longer than necessary. Okay, because I just don't want nobody to feel abandoned, not at my hands, right? So when we feel something, then we don't want other people to feel it. So what is it that you have been dealt that you don't want other people to feel? Identify that for yourself because it will greatly show you and give you a great perspective of the type of people that you're attracted to and the type of relationships that you commit yourself to and what they're there to highlight. I know I say all the time, well, people in your life, they come to reflect to you what you need to heal. But furthermore, we need to understand ourselves what is necessary to be healed. Because if we don't, then the people outside of us are always victimizing us. And we're just, why is everybody always picking on me? And everybody just wants to leave me. Everybody goes with me so they can leave me. And, and then we get, I don't want to, I don't want to be the one to leave you. Or I don't, and that dynamic, which is not healthy, it's not safe, it's actually trauma bonding. And it creates the dynamic and supports the dynamic of the narcissist and empathic dynamic. So, what wounds do you have? Where is Saturn at in your chart, and what fears do you have, and how are they showing up? Do you have fears of getting close to your children because your parents weren't close to you? Do you have fears of showing vulnerability to your friends because all of your friends have betrayed you? Saturn in the 12th in the 11th house or something. Like, where are these things at for you, and how are they showing up? And that's important for you, not for everybody else, just for you. And so I hope that you can see where I'm going with this, right? Next is what are the aspects to look at here is obviously 12th house dynamics. Okay, if people who have like myself, I have Neptune in the 12th house, but people who have Neptune and Saturn in their 12th house, right? They typically struggle with a wound of abandonment because they are often overlooked or unseen, or they feel psychotic, you know, and so they may isolate themselves so that they're not seen. So there's a lot of dynamics there, right? What does that dynamic look like for you? And in understanding that, you'll come to a better understanding of how to get beyond the barriers that exist because of the wounds. Okay, so and you get to understand why you have these wounds, right? Because I tell people all the time, the wounds are there. Like every person's wounds are intentional, and our life is set up around the wounds. Okay, like our experiences, so we are triggered to move and heal and make adjustments and look and observe and reflect so that we can get to another level. But oftentimes we become victim to the things that we're experiencing, so we be stuck. Okay, so some of the other places to look is your north node and your south node. Okay, your north and south node. Are you stuck in the south node? So is this abandonment, abuse, or whatever? Is it part of the south node? And if it is, which means that it's something you brought into this life with you, breaking karmic ties, chains, circles, and cycles, and y'all know what I'm saying. Okay, so you may have brought it into this life with you so that you can heal it, and that's your job. If you don't, there's no avoiding this stuff. Okay, if people want to act like they healing, they want to pretend like they healing, they want to buy some healing, they want to sell some healing. But here's the thing: none of it can be bought, none of it can be sold. All of it is earned. It's an experience that you have that allows you to authentically grow into what the greatest version of yourself. Okay, so if you're struggling with abandonment wounds or any type of wound, and you have not developed the wherewithal to heal those wounds, identify those wounds, this is the time that I assure you is a good time for you to start to put in this type of work, because it's time for us all to get the greatest version of ourselves. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Get the greatest version. We here for the best, and only the best. Nothing else but the best. So, some other placements. Your Venus and Mars. Where are those at? Okay. So, how to heal? Some of the shadow work. Integrating the early with your inner child. Right. I talked about that a little bit ago. What does your moon need? What does it like? What is, are you giving yourself what you need? We oftentimes look for people to give us what we need, and this is why we're always disappointed in relationships because well, I was expecting that I was nice to them, so they should be nice to me. No, if you be nice to you, then other people be nice to you too. That's the way that works. Okay, not if you be nice to people, then people be nice to you. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Okay, you got to be nice to you. And so when we understand what is it that I need, okay, what is it that I need? Like, let's say you have a Sagittarius moon. A person with a Sagittarius moon needs adventure. They need travel. They need foreign experiences. That makes them feel whole. Now, let's say that you grew up, fourth house, with a family that you might have been in poverty or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't have a lot of money, so there wasn't no travel experiences. That means that your life has not had that. And now you expect to be able to have adventures through your partners, but no, you have to create adventures for yourself so that you soothe yourself. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to y'all? I hope it's making sense to somebody somewhere because this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm the police Satan. That's what I do. I tell the truth. Now, I'm telling y'all this because I want you to know what is necessary. Okay, we all know that we got wounds. That's okay. We all got wounds. Okay, we sick of the wounds. We trying to heal the wounds so that we can become greater versions of ourselves, so that we can have greater experiences in this place. Okay, and right here on earth, like, and we ain't waiting for heaven. Okay, we create in heaven. We have in heaven right here because this is where we enter into heaven. It's here, and so in order to do that, we have to relinquish some things that are definitely rooted in our DNA, in our mindset, in our character, in our experiences. It's just there, okay? And so we have to undo some things. There have to be some ego death. We have to evolve and expand from where we were to get to where we're going. And that is important along this journey. So get to know your inner child. Okay. Quit being so damn grown. Understand what is it that makes me feel good? What you know what I'm saying? What makes me feel happy? What makes me feel safe? And don't look for other people to give that to you. Give it to yourself. Because here's the thing. When we look for other people to give it to us, we give it to them. Yeah, we give it to them, and then we expect that they're going to give it back. Reciprocity. Well, they should reciprocate. Well, no, because what you're giving is what you need. Okay, what you need. But if you're giving what you need to you, yeah. Now. You can receive and you can see when people are offering you. So you can see when it doesn't equal up to what is necessary for you. Saturn. Look at where Saturn is. Okay. What restrictions do you have? Uh, and what shadow work must be done for you to remove any restrictions that you've created subconsciously or out of survival, out of instinct, or from uh, indoctrination. What things are there and how can you get beyond those things? And this is what I mean, and that's why I say this is some dirty work. Because yeah, it sounds good to be like, oh yeah, I worked on myself. Okay, we all do. But it's a constant thing because as these planets is moving that none of us have no control over, right? They're definitely highlighting and pinpointing different things that we need to be doing in our lives. You don't want to go cycle after cycle, year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day, having the same experiences that don't feel good to you. And so it's necessary for you to get to knowing who you are and doing the dirty work. Some of this shit we cleaning up, it ain't even ours. Like I said, you brought it in from last lifetime. So it might be yours, it might be your grandmother's, your great grandfather. You don't know, but it's your job to clean it up. And so that's what we do. Um, so with Chiron, we talked about that. The 12th house. Okay. Now, okay, look at your relationship patterns. Right? Are you constantly attracting people who, let's say, okay, for myself, I constantly was attracted to, okay, because I attract all kinds of stuff. We all attract all kinds of stuff. What we have to be responsible for, though, is what we're attracted to, okay? Attracted to those who didn't feel, okay, valuable enough. And so now, what did this highlight for me? It highlighted my internal fear, okay, of not feeling valuable enough. Yeah. Ain't that some shit? That's how it works. Okay, so this is why I always tell people don't ever look at your ex and be like, oh, well, they was this, and this, because ultimately you're talking about yourself, but you're merely projecting onto the other person so that you can stop, so you can avoid accountability, which just delays your growth and you getting the greater version of yourself. Because ultimately, you're going to enter into the next relationship with those same wounds and with those same behaviors and those same thoughts and those same patterns of the thinking, behaving, and doing things. Okay, that's gonna lead you to the same shit that you don't want. Okay, this is why we gotta stop and do the dirty work because we will try to make things what we want them to be. Okay, but we are oftentimes operating from our pain. Yeah, we're operating from the pain. And so if we're operating in the pain, how can we expect to gain something healthy? If we're moving in the pain, okay, and the pain is the root of all of my movements, then I could only be constantly germinating and producing, sprouting up and harvesting more of what I do not want. And so the dirty work is I want to change things. I want a new cycle in my life. And this is what that looks like. So the abandonment one. Okay. Um Now what some of the other things is once you heal, because see, Chiron, your Chiron in your chart is not only a wound and how you heal yourself, but it is also how you heal others. Yeah, ain't that something? So, this is why once we heal ourselves, we become healing to others. Not we are a healer and we can heal them. No, 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 no. Your presence becomes healing because it may be inspiring, it may be encouraging, it may give someone the motivation. It may give someone the hope, okay, to do the same thing in their life. And so doing the dirty work doesn't necessarily have rewards that you're going to see and be praised and accomplished for, but you will definitely experience it through your life. And as a result, people watching you, people who admire you, children, your young nieces and nephews, your grandchildren, your neighbors, your coworkers, your lovers, your siblings, these people get to experience that and they too will be inspired. And that may not happen for all people, but it will happen for some people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so as long as you're inspiring somebody, then you're doing something right, right? That's right. That's the way I feel about it. So the abandonment wound can show up a lot of ways, and all of our wounds do. Okay. So find out what your wound is, look at that thing and understand where does it show up and how do you express it and how can you nurture yourself and heal yourself through it, because as a result you're ultimately going to heal others too. Ain't that some good stuff? I love it, man. I love it. I love it here. I love it here. I'm telling you, I love it. Like, I just love it. And so as you see these things, okay, for myself, okay, stability. I guess I wasn't somebody who was like explaining that. So for myself, the Taurus, Taurus Chiron needs stability. It needs safety. It needs practicality. It needs groundedness. It needs to grow. It has to flourish, And when that doesn't happen for me, then I can feel all out of whack. Okay, like, oh my God, my wound, oh my God, abandoned ship. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Abandoned ship, that's friendship, relationship. Abandoned. And so I had to recognize for myself what that looked like, right? Because with the abandonment wound, there were times where I would abandon things that didn't need to be abandoned because it felt unstable or unsafe or unsure. And there were times where I stayed in situations where I should not have too long because I was trying to get the affirmation. You see what I'm saying? And so this thing can be interchangeable. And don't be hard on yourselves. Okay? Have grace with yourselves. There's no perfect person on this planet at all. So embrace your imperfections. Embrace your imperfections and be those perfectly, because then that means that you're perfectly being you. And that's part of healing. Okay, that's what healing looks like. And so when I say there's levels to that, okay, we go through that. So our wound, okay, our finances, our relationships with people. Okay, also in your wound, look at your seventh house. Okay, what's in your seventh house and how does that wound show up? Because that would affect marriages and contracts and things that are of a commitment with other people, and what people are best suited for you and what types of people are best suited for you can be found in too. So this is a long journey, and there's no magical wand that you can just I'm healed, right? And I told y'all healing is about progression. It's not about perfection. There's no perfect person. So don't look at other people and idealize them or idolize them thinking, oh, well, I want to be like them. No, let's always aspire to be the greatest versions of ourselves. And so this way, you're never disappointed. Because see, if you try to be like me, then you may not get that. But if you be you, perfectly you, then you're gonna always get that, and it's gonna always fit perfectly, and you will always be doing exactly what you came to the planet to do, and that's what humanity needs from all of us right now. And so, if you are on a call and you find yourself being called higher in your life, higher in your purpose, and you're facing roadblocks, okay, start to identify what things in your early life experiences have set up difficulties or barriers for you that keep you from obtaining what you desire on a higher level. Okay. And then you start to do the dirty work, unpack that thing. What does unpacking it look like? Well, okay, well, you know what? I needed this. but I got this and it felt like this. And so I need this so that I can feel like this because this is where my power is. And when you do those things for yourself, believe me, you become enlightened. And as a result, you're healed. And then your energy becomes healing to those who get to encounter you. I love y'all. I'm the Police Saint. That's the end of today's video. Wait a minute. Did I have anyone? Let me make sure that I cover all now. Okay, so tips for what to do. I think I said that, but I might not have said it clear. So okay. You want to understand your chart. What is your birth chart? Because that's where a lot of this healing work is done through. And this is why I kind of try to help people to avoid some of the spiritual predators out here that's taking people's charts, tearing apart, and doing the wrong things, right? Because in there, it does highlight a lot of our instructions and their personal instructions. So uh, get to know your chart, understand what that thing is. What does each placement mean? How does that placement show up in your life? Where is that placement sitting in your personal houses? Okay, because matter of fact, me and my friends who were just talking, there's like a whole group of them. They have Scorpio and Neptune, or Neptune and Scorpio, Neptune and Scorpio, and they but they're all different, right? And that Neptune and Scorpio sits in different houses for them. Like one of them sits in the first house, one of them in the fifth house, another one in the 10th house, another one in the seventh house. And so those it shows up differently in their life, right? And so how does things show up in your life? That's what you need to know. All this other stuff is secondary, unnecessary. And I can assure you, I can promise you that if you just get to understanding what's necessary for you and following that path, you will definitely get the greatest version of yourself because that's where it's at. I love y'all. Thanks for getting up in here and paying attention to me today. I pray that this message helps somebody somewhere to recognize that we all have wounds and there are steps to healing those wounds. And ultimately, here's the thing your core wound is at the core of you, and so it will always exist there. Okay, when it's not healed and is not treated, right? You're not tending to it, then it will show up in ways that are damaging to you. When you tend to it and you are nurturing it and nurturing yourself, it will show up in ways that are beneficial to you and again to everyone who encounters you. Because ultimately, that's our gift to the world. I love you, and I hope that this message helps somebody somewhere to remember you are badass, and we are here at a perfect time in this time to do what? Great things for humanity. So, if you like this video, make sure that you share it to somebody else who may need to hear it, who might not have the tools necessary, or they don't know how to take the steps, and they trying to get up out of that dark place into their greatest version of self. I love y'all. Make sure that you go out this week and find somebody that's difficult to love, especially if that someone is you. Take yourself out on a date, go for a walk, do something that makes you remember to remember all of the beauty that is inside of you and appreciate and value those things because that's what you want somebody else to do. I love y'all. Peace and wellness to you.